He deceived me in December 2023 when he told me that there is no way he would marry Stephanie while Jeffrey is alive. I think your son might be a psychopath. The footage you're about to see was shot on January 6th, 2025 in Hoover, Alabama. Okay, so I want to read to you an email from me to Brenda Morris. This is an email I sent to her on August 24th, 2024. And you got to understand the timing and context of this. This is just 7 days after Titus admitted to me and my son on his front porch that he planned on moving into the house of prayer with Stephanie Kane and Jeffrey Kane's children. And of course, you know, she's still married to Jeff. The house of prayer has not been built yet. The foundation's been started. And that's about where things were. But, you know, talking probably in 2025, he wanted to move into the house of prayer with her. So just a little bit more information on that. Basically, me and my son, once we heard that part, we went from seeing this situation with the Henson Creek House of Prayer, Titus's so-called ministry, having lots of problems and red flags. We went from kind of thinking of it from that perspective to, oh, this whole thing is basically a big deception. It's weird when you're caught in a state of cognitive dissonance. You're kind of like seeing things both ways. You know the truth intuitively, but yet at the same time, you're like you're holding on to sort of the beliefs, and you're having sort of faith in your friend, and you're trying to support your friend. So I was torn. It took me quite a while to be able to fully understand what was happening and to fully identify this as, for lack of a better term, a cult. Okay. So we left on Sunday, August 18th. And then I believe it was Tuesday, August 20th, when we actually made the so-called rebuke video, where I'm sitting on a rock. And that video is called Openly Rebuking Titus According to Scripture. It was really difficult to make that. I shot that in one take, obviously. And, I'm learning a little bit more about editing. So, I'm shooting something like that in one take, unless you really have it nailed down, is probably not the best way to go. But Brenda called me one day that week and spoke with me, and it didn't sit very well with me. There's a lack of admitting fault, for lack of a better term, and maybe at like the universe level with these people. It's like they get their hand caught in the cookie jar. And okay, so Brenda called me earlier that week, and just to sum it up, I wasn't real impressed with her take on things, all things considered, considering everything that happened and everything had come out. I believe that she was sort of in damage control mode, and that didn't sit very well with me. So on Saturday, August 24th, I sent this email to Brenda. And I just want to clarify something. This is not word for word precisely what I emailed her. I did make some very small corrections relating to the years when he began his activities, his inappropriate activities with horses, for lack of a better term. Other than that, I believe it's almost precisely word for word. There's nothing deceptive here, so not from my perspective. Titus is building not a church on a foundation of lies. He deceived me in December 2023 when he told me that there is no way he would marry Stephanie while Jeffrey is alive. That on August 17th, 2024, he told me he would marry Stephanie while Jeffrey is alive. Titus further stated on August 17th, 2024, that his church is not a church, but a house of prayer. When I pressed about the location of the house of health, Titus explained that the house of prayer is also the house of health. In June or so, I recorded Titus making a video where he shared that he was praying that God would both take out and destroy Jeff Kane. He further justified this prayer of death toward his enemy, and I have in parentheses, his former friend of 7 years, by explaining that since the no contact order was in place, there were fewer children there at Titus's farm, and the Cain children were no longer able to come. So, with Jeff out of the way, they would be able to get more done. Essentially, Titus wants to steal his friend's wife. He wants God to kill Jeff, and then he wants to justify it by explaining there will be more efficiency at the house of prayer. I think your son might be a psychopath. Perhaps the most disturbing aspect of all of this is that he has such a lack of self-awareness that he's not even noticed that what he said was terrifying, anti-Christian, and perhaps the most shocking thing I've ever heard a so-called Christian say. The fact that he's trying to build a church while stealing his friend's wife and praying that his friend would be killed by God is the stuff of nightmares, and the image of Kentucky and religion in America in general may be harmed by Titus. I find it very telling that you continue to deny that he has done anything wrong and reinforce that he should not be rebuked. Do you have anything to say about the attic above the garage in your house? Do you have anything to say about Titus's participation in bestiality? From his own admission in court on June 28, 2024, he had sex with horses for approximately 14 years. 14 years of sex with horses. Have you rebuked him for this? Do you believe that your son, Titus Morris, is fit to be around children or lead a church? Do you believe that your home is a safe place for children? Do you believe that you were in error in any way or made decisions that led to 3 of your 4 children being 2 words removed, blank, blank, in your home? Do you think it is appropriate to start a GoFundMe to build a church, then change the name of the church to a house of prayer, then change the name to a house of prayer and a house of health, then at the same time deny that it is a church at all? This smacks of fraud. I expect someone will go to prison, and probably more than one before it's all over. If I am correct, will you argue with me then about the facts? Will you still argue when people try to rebuke you or your son? I was told earlier tonight not to waste my time to respond to you. I have received emails from people in Casey County who have had run-ins with you and have told me and warned me that you and your family members notoriously refuse appropriate rebuke and will not listen to reason. I suspect that Titus has not fallen far from the tree. May God have mercy upon your souls. Aaron. I jokingly shared this with a couple of friends and asked them if they thought I went too light on her or them. She has a lot of influence in what goes on with Titus and this so-called ministry. So she's in the middle of it. I think that's obvious.
Yeah, one other thing I just now realized. I started getting death threats from Stephen Henson 2 days after I sent the email.